We are midway through the championship season now. Most of our teams have played 23 of their 46 games, so it's about time for our half-term report. Now, I used to dread being dragged along to parents' evening, but I am going to use the old school grade system from A all the way down to D. We're going to start at the top with our top of the class and work our way down to the dunces in the corner. My criteria is fairly simple. We'll be looking at where the team has ended up, where we think each team is going, what resources they've had to play with, are there any mitigating factors that may have held them back, and what the expectations were at the start of the season. As ever, please get your comments in below. As ever, please leave your bias at the door. And here's a challenge for you. If you're going to use that overused football word, harsh, then you need to give me some good reasoning into the bargain. Grade A+, nobody. Now, I'm not saying that there haven't been clubs that have been good, even excellent, but for me to be thinking A+, I need to see somebody really running away with the league, playing champagne football, or somebody maybe a bit smaller, so brilliantly exceeding their expectations that we can give out the highest grade. Not quite seeing that yet, but maybe by the end of the season, we will. Grade A, Norwich and Swansea. Yes, they are the top two, but don't worry, this won't just play out in the same way as the league table. I think Norwich have done really well. There was a small worry when Farke called out Cantwell and Buendia and they lost at home to Derby, but in the main, they have done really well. They've mitigated a big injury crisis. Yes, they're not quite the champagne Norwich that we saw in 18-19 under Daniel Farke. Maybe they'd be in the A+ bracket if they were, but they're getting through games and their points total is very impressive at the halfway mark. And for Swansea, brilliant stuff. Obviously, they are a year 3 parachute team, but we know the American owners give the managers little or no money, basically, other than to keep Andre Ayew. We've seen McBurney and James sold Rodden at the start of this season as well. And Steve Cooper's done a great job, really. He's reinvested the small amounts he's got wisely, some good loan deals as well, and they've done superbly to be in second place. Brilliant defensive record as well, and honestly, they haven't really got a striker of note in the squad either. Maybe if they had one, we might see them stay in this bracket or go even higher. A-, Bournemouth, Reading, Brentford and Borough. I think Bournemouth have done really well to keep things stable there. They were the team that I predicted may fall into chaos after their long run under Eddie Howe finished and Jason Tindall took over. We then saw Ake and Ramsdale and Wilson and Fraser all leaving, and it's been nice and calm and fairly consistent. A couple of really nice big wins that I've done as watch along. So I think it's a good job by Jason Tindall to have Bournemouth up there in third position. For Reading, even better, really, given the expectations. So I've got them ranked alongside Bournemouth. They're in fifth position, and come on, nobody expected them. New manager, typical Reading sort of chaos as well there, with Mark Bowen sort of stepping out and chief exec moving on. Paunovic comes in, not a great deal in the way of recruitment, maybe Josh Laurent, and that was about it. And that ridiculous start by Reading, and they have solidified after the losing streak that followed that, and to be fifth at the halfway point after where they've been the past couple of seasons is excellent. And excellent would also describe Brentford's recent form. 15 unbeaten. When I did my first draft of this, I had them as a B, but I just think they are in the A- category now, just for that recent consistency. We expected big things, and I guess the one thing you mustn't forget is they sold Ben Rama and Watkins, so a slow start was expected. The recruitment, as ever, great, with Tony coming into a team that came so close last season, and they're there or thereabouts, like Bournemouth, a game in hand away from the top two. And speaking of surprises, Middlesbrough, I've got to give Neil Warnock an A-. I saw Borough at Charlton at the end of last season in a vital game that if they'd have lost, they would have looked very heavy favourites to be relegated. And look at them now, really good at home, hard to beat, defensively very sound, and just on the edges of the playoffs, mitigating the lack of being a parachute team anymore now for the second season. Warnock's got them challenging again. B+, Huddersfield and Barnsley. I think we were all a little bit worried about what was going to happen at Huddersfield this season. Big struggles last season, obviously losing run from the Premier League, relegated down, parachute money away to the new owners, basically nothing to spend there. Cowley comes in, saves the day, and then replaced with Carlos Corberon, an unproven manager with nothing really to invest, and Carlin Grant, the best player from last season, leaving. Didn't look good for Huddersfield, but they're comfortably in the middle of the table with a very good home record and a highlight reel of some lovely football and some great goals scored. Barnsley, well, it looked a hell of a lot different under Struber about 6 or 7 games in. All wasn't well. He went off to New York, but we knew this squad was good, and Ishmael has come in and turned it round, got them playing, and a really good streak recently. 30 points in 15 games has left them 9th in the table and in my B+ category. Grade B, Stoke City, Luton Town and Coventry City. Now maybe Stoke should be a little bit higher in the table than 8th, given their size and recent Premier League experience and the Bet365 finance, but when you consider where they were when Michael O'Neill took over, they're on a very nice trajectory upwards. Okay, some people find them a little bit dour, but I think we can probably point to a ravaging injury crisis to maybe add a little bit of style points on and a couple more points in the table as well. I suspect they may be a little higher than their current 8th place when the season finishes. For Luton, well, they picked up where they left off last season under Nathan Jones. Spent much of this season in the top half. Like Huddersfield, a team with a good home record propping them up. Long may it continue for Hatters fans, who, let's not forget, are only in their second season in this latest championship stint for them. And a team in their first season of the latest championship stint is Coventry City. We thought of the 3 promoted teams. They did have the most flowing pattern of play, and they've been very stable in their selections, and a recent good run after some difficult fixtures puts them 7 points above the relegation zone, and I think anywhere near that is a job really well done by Mark Robins. B-, Watford and Bristol City. So this might be the first one that gets the dreaded harsh word come up, but I've got to put Watford quite low. There's a little bit of a sense at Watford that isn't at the other 2 relegated clubs, that they haven't quite sorted themselves out from the relegation. Obviously, we've had a Pozzo change of manager already with Xisco Munoz replacing Vladimir Ivic. The football under Ivic was a little bit defensive and the players clearly didn't buy in. So there's a sense that there's a very talented squad sitting in 6th position that needs a bit of a sort out, and really it's the league position and the star power that's propping them up in the table and in my rankings here. Bristol City, I've gone for a B-. I know they're 10th and I know they're on a bad run, and some people may have it a little bit lower. However, they've spent a lot of the season in the top 6. Like at Bournemouth, we've got the assistant sort of taken over with Dean Holden, and another squad just pillaged with injuries, and they've thought manfully against this, and it's only just taken its toll now. So I don't think they can be down in the C's, Bristol City, so I've got them there as a B-. C+, Blackburn, Preston and Rotherham. I've got a couple of underachievers here, as well as a promoted team from last season. Blackburn, yes, they are in 11th. Yes, they have scored some lovely goals and had some big wins, but I cannot get the thought out of my head that they're kind of underachieving with the brilliant Harvey Elliott on loan, Adam Armstrong, high-scoring striker. Yes, I know they've had problems at centre-back with injuries. Bradley Dack returning, just feel a little bit inconsistent for me. So I've gone C+ for Blackburn, and the same for Preston, who just erratic is our watchword. Loads of wins, loads of defeat, weird home record, weird away record, all over the place, and fingers crossed for them they can get through January without these out-of-contract players agitating for moves. I've bracketed Rotherham in there with them. I'm a big fan of the way Rotherham run. They know what they are, they know their club size, and it is difficult for them to compete. Sometimes they're a little bit defensive, but they have been so close in some of these defeats with late goals going against them many times. So I think some sense of positivity, although they've dropped into the bottom 3 now and a few games behind with COVID postponements. Grade C, Cardiff and Wycombe. Cardiff go in my underachievers bracket, but they have to be a little bit lower than Blackburn and Preston purely because of resources and expectation. Cardiff have been in the Premier League very recently. They're a Year 2 parachute team, and they've been able to bring in some decent loan signings and just a hodgepodge of forms, losing streaks, winning streaks, and frankly their current situation of 15th in the table won't be good enough for Neil Harris. 15th in the table would be plenty good enough, however, for Wycombe. I've given Wycombe a C. Yes, I know there was a 7-game losing streak and you think they may be lower than that, but they have fought manfully since then, and let's be fair here, without being patronising, they're one of the smallest teams, along with maybe a Yeovil or a Burton, that we've had in the Championship. So the fact that at the halfway mark they're 4 points from safety means that some kind of improvement could see them close. You just worry if the 4 points grows during the second half of the season. C-, Forest, QPR, Derby and Wednesday. Well, we've definitely got some pretty big names in this category on C-. Forest, well, disaster at the start of the season. Lamucci lasting just a few games and a few defeats, and he was the latest Marianakis manager to be fired. A bloated squad. Krissy comes in. Yes, improvement needed and improvement has come. However, still a big sense of underachievement with that squad, and they need to keep trending upwards through the second half of the season. QPR, a bit of a different state there, obviously selling Eze, and I have to say the recruitment in just hasn't quite done the job. I know he was a great player, but I mean several players, Dickey and Carroll, Adoma, Dykes, Bon, Willock, lots of people have come in, and the sum of all of those players has seen QPR sliding down, winless in a while, into 20th position. So not great for Warburton, and the pressure is growing. Derby, well, much of this grade goes down to Philip Koku and just how his reign ended. He just couldn't get a tune out of the players in the end, and they weren't buying into the ideas. Koku out. Improvement now for sure, but we can't categorise this first half of the season for Derby as anything less than failure, and they lie in the relegation zone. I'm sure they'll push their way out of it as we go on. And Sheffield Wednesday, for whom the word chaos seems to have been invented. they're not actually in the relegation zone sensationally, but they're going to be moving on to their third manager. Don't forget, it's a FFP -6 that they're going against this season. And they've looked all right at times under both Monk and now in this latest half Pulis, half Neil Thompson run. But it does feel very chaotic, disorganised, and only a week or two away from further chaos again, I wonder. Bottom of the class, D grades, Millwall and Birmingham. Apologies to fans of these two clubs, but I have been listening to you, and from the interactions I'm having on the channel, these two managers are under severe pressure after the first half of the season. Millwall, we were so excited about. They seem to have had the right fit with Gary Rowett coming in, another 8th placed finish, and not only did they not sell any of their crown jewel players, they seem to have done good recruitment and added in even more, re-signing Ryan Woods again and Ken Zahor coming in on loan, Troy Parrott. It was all quite exciting. Could they push on? No, it's gone completely the other way. Yes, they were high up in the table after the win at Preston, but then a 10-game winless streak. And when I see Gary Rowett picking different teams every single week now, you do start to worry about the stability and the plan going forward. So a big disappointment, Millwall, who are down in 17th when, honestly, many had predicted them to improve on last season's 8th. Birmingham, well, this is a tricky one because the devil is in the detail. Yes, Karanka is new there. Yes, they had to build from scratch. He's done a lot of recruitment, but when I look at the team and the players, I do believe they should be A, higher in the league than 18th, and B, playing better football. Frankly, it's been very dour and set up not to lose a lot of the time, and when that goes awry, it really doesn't look good. Terrible home record and just a bit of a stink about the place. So not good at Birmingham either. So that is our half-term report. Norwich and Swansea, top of the class. No A+ students just yet. Millwall and Birmingham, bottom of the class. Get involved in the comments. Let me know about your team. Let me know about other teams. Don't get too wrapped up in who's above who, etc. Try and focus on a team, and if you do believe I've got the wrong grade, let me know where you think they should be and give me your reasons why, as ever, leaving your bias at the door. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been your Championship half-term report from me, the teacher, Benjamin Bloom, and it's an over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.